Today we're going to talk about adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So first, in order to add polynomials, what we are going to do is combine like terms. So that's how we would add polynomials. So if I look at this first example, example A, 3x squared minus 8x plus 7, we want to add that to 5 plus 2x squared plus 3x. What we do is combine like terms. Like terms mean they have the same variable with the same exponent. So I have a 3x squared and a positive 2x squared. So if I were going to add those two terms, 3 plus 2 is 5, and the x squared stays the same. Then I combine the other like terms, a negative 8x. That is going to combine with a positive 3x. A negative 8 plus 3 is a negative 5, so that's a minus 5, and the x stays x. And then the last term, positive 7 and positive 5, combine to give me
Please report to Ms. Sawyer's room.
plus 12. So once again, positive 7 and positive 5 combine to give us positive 12. So when we add polynomials, when we add these two polynomials, we get 5x squared minus 5x plus 12. Next slide, let's take a look at subtracting polynomials. In order to subtract polynomials, we do pretty much the same thing, except for I'm going to add the opposite. So I see this minus in between. So what I do is I pretend it's like a minus 1, and then I distribute a negative through the parentheses. So this becomes a negative 5, a positive 7x squared, and a negative x. So now when we combine like terms, we combine a 2x squared with a positive 7x squared, giving us 9x squared. We combine a negative 5x with a negative x, giving us negative 6x, a positive 9, and a negative 5, giving us positive 4. So instead of subtracting like it tells us to, I actually add the opposite, and I would get 9x squared minus 6x plus 4. So that's how you subtract polynomials. Multiplying polynomials. So if I look at this first example, example A, I want to multiply 4x times 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. All I do is distribute the polynomial. 4x times 3x squared, I multiply 4 times 3 to get 12. And x times x squared gives me x cubed. And then I multiply 4 times negative 5x, which would give me a negative 20x squared. And a 4x times 2, which gives me positive 8x. And that's as far as I can go. So all we're doing is distributing. So if I were to look at the next one, I would distribute. Next one, I would distribute. So let's take a look at letter D. Letter D is multiplying three binomials. So what I'm going to do for this one is I actually just multiply 2 at a time. So I'm going to multiply the x minus 1 times the 2x plus 5 first. In order to do that, I multiply x times 2x, and I would get 2x squared. X times 5 gives us 5x. Negative 1 times 2x gives us negative 2x. Negative 1 times 5 gives us negative 5. Combine our like terms there in the middle. 5x minus 2x is 3x. So we get a 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. That's what we get when we multiply just these first two binomials. And now we have to multiply that by the third binomial. The third binomial here is x minus 3. So now I have to take this x minus 3 and multiply it by 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. So I have to once again distribute. So I'm going to distribute the 2x squared to the x and to the 3. So 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times negative 3 is negative. That's a negative 6 x squared. And then we want to multiply the 3x times the x and the 3x times the 3. 3x times x is positive 3x squared. 3x times negative 3 is negative 9x. And then we want to multiply the last terms here, the negative 5 times x, and the negative 5 times negative 3. So negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. So now that we've gotten all the way through here, we just want to combine our like terms. 2x cubed, there's nothing like that, so we get a 2x cubed. We have a negative 6x squared and a positive 3x squared. When we combine those, we get a negative 3x squared. We have a negative 9x and a negative 5x. When we combine those, we get a negative 14x. And then, of course, there's nothing like this 15, so we just put plus 15. So if we were going to multiply these three binomials, the first thing we do is multiply the first two, get an answer, take the third one, and multiply it by distributing all three of these terms to the two inside the x minus 3. And when you get the answer, when you multiply them, you get 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 14x plus 15. And that would be how you would multiply three binomials.